Hey guys, it is Wednesday afternoon. It's about 3:30 and I wanted to go ahead and record a video for my lesson that I taught on Monday. I attempted to record one in one of my classes, but it didn't really work, so I'm going to do it now. So if you were absent Monday, we were looking at section 9.3, which was all about the coordinate plane. Okay, and we started off looking at some vocabulary terms. We have a total of 10 terms. We're going to start with 6. So let's start with number 1. The first term you need to know is just what is the coordinate plane. Okay, and the coordinate plane is formed by two number lines. It's formed by two number lines in a plane that intersect at right angles. So the coordinate plane is formed by two number lines in a plane that intersect at right angles. Okay, our next term is the word axes. Axes. And axes is actually the plural form of the word axis. And in the coordinate plane, we have two axes. So the axes are the two perpendicular lines the two perpendicular lines of a coordinate plane that intersect at the origin. So the axes are the two perpendicular lines of a coordinate plane that intersect at the origin. Now we're going to look at what the origin is in just a minute. Alright, so the next term is the x-axis. And the x-axis is going to be the horizontal axis. The x-axis is the horizontal axis in the coordinate plane. So our coordinate plane basically looks like this. It's got, these tick marks where we label the x and y axes. So this horizontal axis here is the x-axis. Okay, so the y-axis is going to be this vertical axis. Okay, the y-axis is the vertical axis in the coordinate plane. Alright, the next term is the word...
And water and Visa, if you're in the building, your ride is waiting out front, and water and report out front.
Sorry about that. The next term is the word quadrants. So the quadrants are referring to each of these four regions of the coordinate plane. Quadrants are each of the four regions in the coordinate plane. Okay, so basically each of these four regions are individual quadrants. And we can find points in all 4 quadrants. We'll look at those more closely in a minute. Okay, the next term and the last one we're going to look at for now, and this is a 6, not a B. The last term for now is the word origin. I mentioned that one earlier. So the definition for the coordinate plane says that it's formed by, the definition for axes is that they're 2 perpendicular lines of a coordinate plane that intersect at the origin. So this point right here in the very middle of our coordinate plane, that is the origin. So the origin is the point where the x and y axes intersect. Okay, the origin is the point where the x and y axes intersect. All right, so we are going to draw and label a coordinate plane. So if you have a ruler or a protractor, get that out, and if you need to pause the video to go get one, you can do that. So if you've got a ruler, you can use it to create this very straight line right on one of these grid lines. And we're going to do one vertical line and another horizontal line. Then we need to label, put in our tick marks. And I'm just doing this along each of these little intervals. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is let's go ahead and label our origin. So to label the origin, you can actually just write a little O in this bottom left corner, and that will signify the origin. Okay, let's also label these tick marks. And you don't have to label every single one. You can go every other number. You can do the even numbers. You can do the odd. It doesn't really matter. But you have to remember to label them as either positive or negative. So on the axis here, the numbers to the right of 0 are going to be positive, and the numbers to the top of 0 on this axis are going to be positive. But then to the left here is going to be negative, and then down this way is also going to be negative. So you've got to make sure you label those right. Okay? Alright, so this axis right here, this vertical axis, is going to be the y-axis. You can almost think when you nod your head yes, you shake your head up and down. So the y-axis goes up and down. This horizontal axis, remember, is the x-axis. And you can think when you're at the beach and you see a sunset, you look out at the horizon, and that goes from left to right. It's a straight line, so that might help you remember the x-axis is horizontal. Alright, so now let's label our quadrants. So our first quadrant is actually going to be in this top right region of our coordinate plane. This is where we're going to start numbering. Now, when we number our quadrants, we're going to use Roman numerals. So this is quadrant 1, and the Roman numeral for 1 is the capital letter I. Now when we continue, we're actually going to start here and go counterclockwise. Okay? So we're going to go to the left, then down, then to the right. Okay, so if this is quadrant 1, directly to the left should give us quadrant 2. And this is the Roman numeral for 2. Okay, if I continue, I'm going to go down. So we have 1, 2, so this is going to be quadrant 3. This is the Roman numeral for 3. And then our last quadrant here is going to be quadrant 4. Now the Roman numeral for 4 is a little bit different. So you actually are going to have IV written together, and that just means 1 less than 5. V is the Roman numeral for 5, so if you put an I before it, that tells you it's 1 less than 5. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so let's look at an example where we are going to practice identifying what quadrants certain points are going to belong to. Okay? So I'm going to quickly, and not very neatly, just for the sake of time, draw in a coordinate plane. Okay? And we're going to have 3 points within this coordinate plane. All right, so what we need to figure out is what quadrant do each of these points belong to? So our first point, let's look at point J. We'll go in alphabetical order. So point J, let's see what quadrant it belongs in. Remember, we start counting here. So if we count counterclockwise, we would have quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. So point J is in quadrant 4. And you can even abbreviate that as Q4. But remember to use the Roman numerals. All right, let's look at point M. Point M looks like it is in this quadrant here, which would be quadrant 1. Now what about point R? Point R is located right here, and it's on the x-axis, and it's in between the second and third quadrants. But because it's not out in these quadrants like these 2 points are, then point R actually does not belong to any of the 4 quadrants. We would just say it is on the x-axis. So in order for a quadrant or a point to fit in a quadrant, it has to be out in the middle of the quadrant. It could be right outside the x-axis, but as long as it's not on the x-axis or the y-axis, it would be in one of those 4 quadrants. All right, so we're going to add in a few more vocabulary terms. The next one we're going to look at is an ordered pair. Okay, and an ordered pair might sometimes be written, or it'll be written like this. It'll be 2 numbers separated with a comma written inside parentheses. And this ordered pair gives the location of a point on a coordinate plane. So an ordered pair gives the location of a point on a coordinate plane. So for this ordered pair, we would be able to use it to figure out where that point lies on the coordinate plane. Okay, the next term is the word coordinates. And the coordinates are just the numbers in an ordered pair. So 1 and 3 are coordinates. So coordinates are the numbers in an ordered pair. And again, they're going to give us the location of a point within the coordinate plane. Okay, our next term, we're going to look at the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate. Okay, and the x-coordinate is just going to be this first number in the ordered pair. So in this example, our x-coordinate would be 1. So the x-coordinate is the first number in an ordered pair. The x-coordinate is the first number in an ordered pair. Okay, and then our last term is going to be the y-coordinate. Okay, and the y-coordinate is going to be the second number in an ordered pair. So in this example, 3 would be our y-coordinate. So the y-coordinate is the second number in an ordered pair. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to, again, just draw a really quick, really sloppy coordinate plane. And I'm going to plot some points, and we're going to figure out what their coordinates are. All right. And again, if you need to pause the video to give you more time to draw your coordinate plane, that's fine. All right, so we're going to have 3 points. We're going to have point K, point T, and point W. So point K. We need to figure out what are the coordinates for point K. So we always want to start at our origin. Always start at the origin. So to figure out our coordinates, you need to see, well, how far to the left or the right did I go, and how far up or down did I go. Okay, so it looks like I went over to the right 1 space or 1 jump. So that's going to give me my x-coordinate. How far to the left or right did I go? So I went over to the right to 1. Now to get my y-coordinate, I need to see how far up did I go. And it looks like I went up to 4. So 4 would be my y-coordinate. Tells me how far up or down on the y-axis I went. Okay, let's look at point T. It's right here. So first of all, start at the origin, see how far to the left or the right I went, and it looks like I went to the left over to -2. So my x coordinate is going to be -2. And I have to see how far up or down did I go on the y-axis. And if you look, I actually didn't go up or down. I stayed right by 0. Remember, 0 is going to be at the middle. That's the origin. So my y-axis, or my y-coordinate, is going to be 0. Because I didn't move up or down at all. All right, and our last one, point W. Again, start at the origin, see how far to the left or right we went. It looks like we went to the left to -3. So that's going to be my x coordinate. And then we went down to -4. So that will be my y coordinate. Right, so we've looked at telling which quadrant points are in. We've looked at giving the coordinates for points that are already graphed. And the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at actually graphing 3 points with the coordinates given to us. Okay, so this will be our last coordinate plane that we're going to draw and graph. Alright, so my first point is going to be point P. This is example 3. Point P, the coordinates are -3, -2. So again, I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to look at my x coordinate to see where I need to go. My x coordinate is -3. So I need to go to the left to -3, which is right here. Now I need to look at my y-coordinate, which is -2. So the y-coordinate is telling me I need to go down to -2. And this is where my point would be. So that would be point P. Okay, my next one, point R, its coordinates are 0, 4. So I'm going to start at the origin. Remember, my first number in the ordered pair is my x-coordinate, and it tells me how far I need to go to the left or the right. Well, I'm at 0, so that means I don't move at all on this x-axis. I stay right here. But my y-coordinate is 4, so that tells me I need to go up to 4. So point R would be right here. Okay, and my last point is point M, and its coordinates are 3, -4. So again, my x-coordinate is 3, so I'm going to start at the origin and go over to 3, and my y-coordinate is -4. So I'm at 3, and I'm going to go down to -4, which is right here. So that would be point M. Alright, so that is all I have for you. That's all that we looked at on Monday. We did do an additional activity, just practicing plotting points and finding the coordinates of points. But if this was pretty straightforward for you, then you should have no problems on the quiz tomorrow, which is Thursday. So feel free to shoot me any questions you have. Send me an email or ask me about them in class. We will go over this stuff before you take your quiz, so hopefully that will help clear up any questions and you will be able to do well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.